Look, there are so many reasons people are moving to Marquette, Michigan. Hey, the people are great, the lakes are awesome, and if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know that there's so much stuff to do. But there are certain things that you'll want to know before you make a move to Marquette, Michigan. So if you're considering making a move, I suggest you watch till the end where we cover all 8 things you should know before making a move to Marquette, Michigan. Now let's get right after it. So I don't know where you're coming from, but one of the top things on this list of things you should know or reasons to avoid Marquette, Michigan is the lack of employment. Marquette, Michigan is primarily a sticks and stones economy where we have, a lot of timber up here, and we do have the mining industry. So there certainly is some uncertainty of how long the mining industry will be around. I remember even 5-10 years ago they were talking about, there's only 10-15 years left of mining available, but obviously it's still going, but you just never really know. And obviously new technologies comes around, so things change as we go, and there's the new mine up towards Big Bay there as well. So there are mines, there are opportunity there, and of course we do have a lot of small businesses here that are a lot of locals are working within those small businesses. Remote work has become a big thing where people are working in these public places where they can work remotely, from their computers or whatever it is. They go to a coffee shop or go to a remote workplace, or even just working from their home where they can plug in nationwide. So that's becoming a more popular thing where people are moving up here for that reason. And the other thing you need to understand with that lack of employment, there is a relatively lower income, average income in Marquette County, and the upper peninsula as a whole is just not, the average cost of living, which we'll cover in another video, but the average cost of living is a little bit lower than most areas in Michigan, which is rapidly changing. But so it's tougher with a lot of folks that are maybe working at some of these smaller businesses. They can't really sustain living here or renting here or whatever it might be. So that's the first item on the list. So the next item on the list is the lack of access to the rest of the country. You may or may not know, Marquette, Michigan, we're way up in the upper peninsula of Michigan. We're bordering Wisconsin. We're touching Canada. We're way up north, right? There's not a lot of easy access in and out. And typically, if you wanted to travel somewhere, we do have a small local airport, here, but it's a small airport. You're going to be a connecting flight to basically wherever you go. Unless you're going to Detroit or Minneapolis or whatever it might be. But you have a connecting flight wherever you go. If you're looking to drive and go somewhere, it takes 8 hours to really get anywhere, whether it be Minneapolis or down south of Chicago or into Detroit and heading that way. So it's really it's a tough commute. And another note on the airports, right? Being that we're not a major airport, sometimes you can get stuck going in or out. With our snowfall that we have in the wintertime, you might get stuck because it's just too tough to land here, and you might end up having to take a rental car or whatever it might be, or maybe you got to fend for yourself. So a lot of times that can be a challenge when you're trying to figure out the transportation part of it. There's also a lack of the bigger city amenities. I know a lot of people, they like their Costco's or they like their Sam's Club. We do have a Target, we do have a Walmart, we do have a Meijer, Menards, Lowe's, stuff like that. So there is some of those big box stores that have came, but there's also some that came and gone, right? Best Buy. Best Buy is kind of one of those things. Like, people are shopping online nowadays, but I remember growing up as a kid. We used to make trips down to Green Bay, Wisconsin to go to the local Sam's Club. So it was a fun little trip going down there, whatever it is, 3.5 hours. So it's just things that you kind of get used to. I don't know if you're used to driving on a freeway, but we don't have any freeway access here. So that's another thing. People are driving a little bit slower, right? It's just the way of life up here. And if that's okay with you, you'll get by just fine. And the other part about access is, if you're looking for medical care, there's not a lot of specialized medicine in the area. So a lot of people have to end up traveling down to Green Bay or Milwaukee or Minnesota, whatever it might be, to find that specialized care. Whether it be maybe a orthopedic surgeon or maybe a foot doctor, shoulder, whatever it might be. We do have a large major hospital here, but like I said, a lot of times we don't have that direct care that you may need for specialized situations where you might need to find a bigger hospital, a bigger area that has that kind of availability. So that's another thing you need to consider for that. Now, next on this list is it's a small town vibe. This could be a pro, it could be a con for some, right? And we kind of alluded to on the last one where you don't have access to a lot of different entertainment. We don't have your big malls or your laser tag or go-karts. We used to have go-karts back in the day, the old moose tracks, but that's been gone for many years. That's where the new Target is now. But there's just kind of a lack of entertainment if you're looking for things outside of outdoor recreation. But if you're into outdoor recreation, you won't get bored. So if you're not in outdoor sports, you're not not into, hiking, skiing, snowboarding, sledding, skating, fishing, whatever it is, mountain biking, biking in general, you probably won't enjoy Marquette to its fullest potential. So if you're one of those people that just, likes to be entertained by, outside sources, whatever it might be, this might not be the place for you. And I just want to make sure that you're well aware of that small town vibe. Hey, real quick, guys, again, this is Travis Juntti with the Living in Marquette, Michigan team. I appreciate you guys watching this. If you're getting any value from this, make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe button, hit that little bell to make sure you get notified anytime we put out new content. Again, this is Travis Juntti, living in Marquette, Michigan. All my contact information is down below. If you're looking to make a move to Marquette, Michigan, next 90 days, or shoot, even the next couple of years, make sure you reach out. We can have a conversation and see if this might be a fit for you. All my contact information is down below. Call, text, email, whatever is best for you. We'll have that conversation. Let's keep moving on. Well, we can't have an avoid living in Marquette, Michigan video without talking about the weather. We do have the 4 seasons here. We do get a lot of snow. We do have beautiful summers, so there is that. A lot of people really enjoy the summers. They come up here. Probably the best times of the year are depending on how you like it, but typically it's July, August, September, and going into October are some of the people's favorite seasons here, whether it's summer or into that fall season where we have the beautiful trees up here. So a lot of people enjoy that time up here, but a lot of people don't talk about the snow that we have. So we do have a lot of snow here. Make sure you check out my other video here where we talk about winter living in Marquette, and that kind of gives you an idea of snowfall in different areas of Marquette. But that's one thing to be aware of is obviously we get tons of snow. I don't know if you have a family like myself. Like I said, I work with a lot of families like you. So if you have a family and your first experience in winter, just make sure that you're aware that your kids will want to go outside. This isn't vacation, right? Your kids will want to go outside. You're going to be searching for mittens. You'll be searching for gloves, searching for boots. Come to find out that all that stuff is already outside, buried in the snow, now that you don't have access to that stuff until maybe April, May, when the snow melts. So you are buying new stuff or whatever it is. Maybe they lose their stuff, or you put on all their stuff and they're out there for 10 minutes and they get snow on their face and they're back inside. So you might be dealing with that quite a bit as well. So just keep in mind, we are in Michigan winter. A lot of people really do enjoy it. Our ski hill is open. We got cross-country ski trails, lots of different hiking that you can do, lots of different snowshoeing, not only in Marquette County, but just the surrounding areas, up into Munising. Obviously you got the Pictured Rocks area up there as well. Ice climbing and like the Ebon Ice Caves. Lots of fun stuff that you can do in the wintertime. You just really have to enjoy it and just be fully immersed in the seasons that we have here in Michigan. Obviously summer is beautiful, but the other part about summer and the other part about the Upper Peninsula of Michigan is we do have a lot of mosquitoes. So you have to deal with the mosquitoes or the bugs and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, some seasons are better than others, but typically we do get heavy on the bugs. So just be prepared. Maybe if you're going golfing or something, if you're going hiking, if you're going to be anywhere near the shade, just beware that as soon as you step from the sun to the shade, that you will be eaten alive from the mosquitoes. Hey, I do appreciate you guys hanging out with me so far. I would love if you would drop a comment down below. What is one thing that you might want to add, to avoid living in Marquette, Michigan? Maybe there's one con, maybe there's a pro that you want to talk about. Like I said, we do have my pros and cons video up here as well. We could talk about the different things, but I'm curious, what is it that one thing that you would like to tell our listeners of something that you should avoid before moving to Marquette, Michigan? So next on the list is kind of a two-part series, but it's all about the housing, right? We are a real estate channel. I am a real estate agent licensed here in the state of Michigan. So we're going to talk a little bit about the housing costs and the housing availability. A lot of people are looking to move here. Like I said, it's people are doing more remote work. People want to move back to Marquette, Michigan, or move up to Marquette, Michigan because of how beautiful it is. I like to call it sometimes almost like a mini Boulder, right? Mini Boulder, Colorado, minus the mountains and stuff. A lot of people are looking to move up here, and then they move up here, and then they find out, oh, there is nothing available. It's hard to find a place to live. Maybe the places that they're finding doesn't really suit their needs. That's the challenge. There's just not a lot of options for living in Marquette, Michigan, or even the surrounding areas. So one suggestion is always to maybe look for a place to rent. Maybe it's short term, whatever it is, while you're looking for that place to live. Because like I said, there's just not a lot of options for places to live in Marquette, Michigan. And the challenge with that, I mean, really, there is not much for new construction. The new construction that we're seeing in town, quite frankly, is due to the tourist season, which is a lot of hotels, motels.
What you doing? Chilling at the Holiday Inn.
Holiday Inn. There was a time when a lot of people were thinking, oh, I want to move up to the UP, Upper Peninsula, that is. Maybe they came from downstate Michigan, Detroit, Southeast Michigan area. And they're going to move up north to have a little bit lower cost of living, that kind of thing. That's really not as much the truth anymore. A lot of times you're moving up here, now you're paying equal or sometimes more for the same place. I mean, it used to be a time where you would come up here, you could find a place on land, have a bunch of acreage, you would have equity. You could use your equity from your home and make that transition. Now, I mean, that being said, I know the average cost of living in Marquette County is typically right around that $250, but keep in mind, there's a lot of homes that are kind of right around that $250 or below that a lot of people just really aren't looking to move into. Might be an old home that might need a lot of work, over in Nagani or Ishpeming or something like that. If you're looking to move right into Marquette, that could be a little bit more challenging finding that place. And if you're looking for a place that might be a little bit bigger for families like myself, or if you're looking for some property, like also I'm looking for, it's harder to find that home because it's that's what everybody's kind of looking for. Is they're moving up to Marquette, they want to live in more remote area, they want to live out off the beaten path a little bit, so it's a little bit harder to find. Like I said, that's why you reach out to number one relocation team in Marquette, Michigan. All my information is down below. Call, text, email, whatever is best for you, whether it's 9 days, 90 days, or several years, whatever it is. Let's get that truck in motion. Have a Zoom call. We can chat about what your needs and wants are, and we can figure out the best plan going forward. So next on that list would be transportation. There's not much for transportation. We do have the bus running around town. It's called the Mark Tran, but that's really all we have is that bus. I mean, most people, even as myself growing up, I may have taken it, here and there, to get from what used to be the old Shiras pool or going into somewhere else. But I don't use the Mark Tran much anymore. I don't know if many people really use the Mark Tran. I know some people, like my brother's kids, will go from their house over to the Marquette Mall or whatever, or Westwood Mall. But it's just not. They don't go through town. They're not weaving through streets and taking you places. Overall, most people will have a car or truck, right? Or all-wheel drive vehicle, Subaru, whatever it might be. But a lot of people are getting by, like if they're living in the city of Marquette, a lot of people are getting by on bikes. Even if you park somewhere, parking is relatively available. It's a small town. So if you wanted to just bike around town, there's a lot of good little bike lanes in town that they've been working on over the years to make it a little bit better to get around. If you're a student coming here for college, there's a lot of housing that you can find, in town. A lot of people are biking. It's a lot of times it's hard to find parking at the school, so you might be biking into town or whatever. So as the years go by, I have seen a lot more bikes. It's all seasons, right? It's summer, fall, winter, spring, whatever it might be. A lot of people are on those fat tire bikes, where they can get around in the snow much easier. Just be aware that if you're living in Marquette County, you're probably going to want a car to get around, and you're also probably going to want a bike because that's what all the cool kids are doing, right? So next on the list, hey, we are a college town, and I know we touched on this a little bit, previously talking about, the school kids and the different housing and stuff like that. But just beware. Northern Michigan University is the college that's in Marquette, Michigan. Really not that big of a deal. Some people like it, some people don't like it. It's fun if you're in Marquette and if you like to do some people watching or whatever it is. The students are around town. It's for the most part, people are getting along. A lot of people are here for the outdoor recreation. They love it out here. The student population is right around that 7,000, 8,000 people. Your overall Marquette population kind of hovers around that 20,000, give or take, depending on the school season or whatever. So I'm sure there are some pros, there are some cons of being a college town. I know one of the pros for me is I'm a hockey guy growing up. I always liked going to the Northern Michigan University, the Wildcats in town. There's different other sporting events if you're into football and the basketball, all kinds of different events for that nature. But if you're someone that's just like to stay to themselves, and maybe it's not for you if you're not a big fan of a bunch of kids being around. It is what it is. I would consider at that point you could still live in Marquette County. Maybe you want to live in more of an outlying area, Nagani, Ishpeming, Gwin, whatever it might be. And last but not least, I want to touch on the last thing you might want to think about before making a move to Marquette, Michigan is understand that Marquette, Michigan, as being a college town, the political views, they do lean a little bit more liberal. I know if you look on sites like niche.com, it'll say that it is more of a conservative leaning. That's not quite the truth. Maybe in some of the other areas, where if you're looking outside into Ishpeming or Nagani or Gwin or whatever it might be, that might be more conservative leaning. But as far as Marquette County and Marquette, Michigan as a whole, it is going to lean more liberal. That's not really a bad thing, right? Good or bad. It's depending on what you like. But ultimately, everybody is nice here. People get along. So just don't let that be a deterrent. If that is a deterrent, then so be it. Maybe it's not the place for you. But overall, I don't have a problem with it. People that I know that don't have a problem with it. I just wanted you to be aware, because a lot of times, like I said, if it's on niche.com, it's a little bit off on that stat. So just want to make sure that you are aware of the truth here for Marquette, Michigan. Michigan. Hey, again, I appreciate you watching this video on the top 8 things you should avoid before making a move to Marquette, Michigan. Again, this is Travis Juntti with the Living in Marquette, Michigan team. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit that little notification bell to make sure you get notified anytime we put out new content. And if you're looking to make a move to Marquette, Michigan, all my contact information is down below. Call, text, email, whatever is best for you. I'd like to help you make that move to Marquette, Michigan. And look, I know this is kind of scratching the surface. Like I said, I'd love if you would drop a comment down below. What would you like to learn about Marquette, Michigan? Maybe I can make a video for you to help you understand about making a move to Marquette, Michigan. Until next time, we'll see you on Living in Marquette, Michigan. This is Travis Juntti signing out.